Hi, and welcome to another segment of GCA Today. I'm James Martinez with Guam Contractors Association, and this is our segment, our Thanksgiving segment of GCA Today. And I know there's a lot of things that our members and the community at large have a lot to be thankful for, and I know for sure one thing that we're thankful for is having forward-thinking leaders running our government for the best or for the betterment of the island and for the people that live on it. And so we're honored to have with us this week on Thanksgiving week the Honorable Eddie Calvo, Governor of Guam. Governor Calvo, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and having this little chat with us today. I know we want to talk about construction and things that are probably coming up in the future, but talk about whatever you feel like talking. I just want to first of all mention one thing. We got news just recently, this morning, that the Department of Defense had awarded 7 contractors with the Hub Zone multiple awards contract. So things are moving forward on the military side, and of course in the media we've been hearing about this $100 million project to renovate some of the schools, namely Simon Sanchez and George Washington, and the other schools that need repairs. And so those are things that we're looking forward to, and hopefully that you could talk about a little bit about that, as well as other projects that you see coming, at least in the near term.
Again, thank you so much, James. And first of all, I want to
Our pleasure.
wish everyone here a happy Thanksgiving
Yes.
Day. And there's really a lot to be thankful for. I told some of my family I don't even want to watch CNN anymore. When you see all the issues that are going on worldwide, and whether it's man-made disasters or some of the calamities that are occurring in terms of Mother Nature, Guam is in relative peace and also relative prosperity. You mentioned some of the projects that are moving along right now, particularly for those that focus in our economy for the construction industry. Again, you mentioned about the work with the Department of Education on the $100 million for renovation, rebuild of the Simon Sanchez campus, as well as GW and other schools around the island. The next several days, you'll be seeing that process moving forward rather quickly. There's Hagatna redevelopment. There's a lot of activity going down in Agana, and then of course with our infrastructure projects, not only roads, but when it comes to water, wastewater, and power, there's a lot of work ahead. And the good news is, I think in the next several days, the President of the United States will be signing the NDAA Act, and there is civilian infrastructure work there. That's over $100 million for wastewater treatment facilities. So you add that through the normal financing of our government agencies and utilities for water, wastewater treatment, and the power generation distribution. There's a lot of activity that's going to be moving forward in that end. You mentioned about the military. Again, with the signing also with NDAA, you're looking at about $8.6 billion worth of work over the next decade. And then, of course, in the short run, some good things are happening with tourism. And again, we seem to have every month record numbers of tourists coming in. The unfortunate thing is our hotel capacity is not there to meet demand. Most recently, Gita gave me a report that there are already 3 hotels that have applied for a LC, the official process. That adds up to about 1,000 rooms. There's another 4 businesses that have sent a letter of interest for another 1,200 rooms. So you see all this economic activity, construction that is occurring in the near term and the midterm, as well as we see in the long term with what is going on with the realignment in the Pacific. So you folks have a busy year ahead, a busy decade ahead, and I'm excited, and I look forward to working with you and being a partner in building the construction industry here in Guam.
And then we have, of course, next year in the month of May and early June is FESPAC. And I know there's a lot of preparation work that's being done right now that includes some construction of some facilities and probably some repair and maintenance of other facilities. How's that going along?
Things are going on well. Again, we've done half the demolition of the Department of Administration building, and the other half will be coming shortly. The museum is really taking shape, as well as the legislature building. We have the fisherman's ramp for those fishermen. The Great Seal of Guam, real life display out there in Agani Bay. We have the new museum, the expansion of the museum. The library that is expanding. So there are so many more activities that are occurring that will beautify Agani, not only for FESPAC, but after FESPAC, for our people of Guam to enjoy.
Oh, absolutely.
And before FESPAC, we're having PATA.
Uh-huh.
So with the PATA conference, first time it's been held in the Pacific. It's usually been focused on the Asian region, but you're going to see the movers and shakers of the tourism services industry, not only when it comes to transportation, but hotel and leisure services. So they all congregated in Guam right before the FESPAC event that again will bring in representatives from 27 different island nations around the Pacific. So it's very exciting times ahead for Guam.
And that's perfect timing. You were at the launching of the opening of the convention center over the Dusatani, and of course I wasn't invited, but how was that?
It was beautiful, and when you take a look at Guam tourism, there was again a focus not only in building rooms, but also on looking at how the ebb and flow of tourism, how it impacts our local industry. Some of what makes Guam interesting is we get many tourists from Asia, and they all seem to go on vacation at the same time, whether it's Japan, Korea, Taiwan, or China. So there are those periods where we have, if we have 110% occupancy or higher because of the demand. That's why we're building more rooms.
Right.
But then there are also those periods where everybody works at the same time too, where we usually have the lower occupancy rates. What has occurred with Dusitani and with the building and the opening of this new convention center, in totality, this whole complex will see about 2,000 individuals. Of course, they have breakout rooms as well. But that is also a portion of how to smoothen those certain times when we have we're off-peak periods. And that's by setting up these meetings, these incentives, these events and conferences for companies and organizations to come to Guam and use that center. So what we anticipate with this new facility opening up is that you'll see now a more even distribution when it comes to tourists coming to Guam, and in those off-peak periods, a more focus on getting these packages for these meetings and these conferences. So I'm excited.
What do you see in the future with these? I know the conventions, we've had a few where smaller companies would bring their whole organization out to Guam, and of course they book up the hotel rooms, but with a capacity of holding 1,000 people, we can expect even bigger and better conventions. But where do you see that coming in terms of our tourism market for conventions that are from folks from Asia that want to come out to a tropical paradise and experience this here on Guam, and also do business at the same time with their conferences and their conventions?
Yeah, and because of these type of meetings, you see, it's not your traditional, in a sense, of the tourists that we've been getting in, because obviously these will either be business or governmental, non-NGO type organizations having these meetings. We had a World Health Organization summit here. We had TPP representatives here for negotiations. And you're talking for both of those anywhere from 300 to 400 participants. And these were high-powered folks, and whether it's in trade or it's health ministers from different nations, they came to Guam for a specific purpose. Secondary, of course, was enjoying the beach and the beaches and the beautiful ocean and the shopping. But first and foremost was for an event. Well, we're going to see an expansion of this. So the type of tourists coming to Guam, they will be again enjoying our beaches, enjoying our shopping, enjoying our culture, and what we have to offer. But they will be here for some specific type of events. And so this is a new type of market that will be coming in. And also, since we will be going through this 10-year period of construction development, particularly to the repivot and movement of some of our marine forces from Okinawa to Guam, you're going to see a lot more business type of tourists as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those folks and those businesses and organizations and entities that are somehow tied to construction, somehow tied to development of these military assets here on Guam. So it will be expanding the type of visitors that will make will have an opportunity to visit our shores.
Yep, and I would say, when our tourism industry increases, also more investors would come to Guam to build new facilities, new attractions, I guess, for the tourist market, and that amounts to construction work going over here. But before I leave, our time is running out. I just want to thank you, first of all, when you were a senator in the Guam legislature many years ago. You provided this program called the GRAP program, the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program. When it first started, it was a little slow to get off the ground, but I must say right now we're seeing more and more companies actually indenturing their employees into a registered apprenticeship program and availing themselves of the tax, some of the tax breaks that they would get for hiring and training apprentices locally. So we're seeing a lot of that going on, and that wouldn't be made possible without your effort, and that's some of the forward thinking that we're talking about in our leadership, and I think we need more of that. But Governor Calvo, congratulations for everything that you've done for our industry in particular, but also for the entire population here on Guam. And we look for bigger and better things to come in the near future, and hopefully we continue on this forward track to really improving our island and improving our economy.
Thank you so much. Again, grab your surfboard because the wave is coming, and let's fly through that wave. Let's ride the wave.
We're going to be there with you, Governor. Thank you very much. So until our next segment, we'll see you again on next episode of GCA Today. Thank you.